Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today we're getting into this Lego set 76291, the Avengers Assemble Age of Ultron. Now, this set obviously is framed from that intro scene of the Age of Ultron movie where all the Avengers are all together and they have that kind of static scene where they all just kind of like jump for the, just for the pose. It says on the box, this is Infinity Saga. That's kind of like their way of just kind of closing in all the sets that relate to everything that came, I believe, before or part of the Infinity Saga, meaning up to the last movie, which is Endgame. Everything from that point and before it all fall within that category when they want to kind of brand a scene, especially now where the movies are no longer new, but it's just, okay, we want to branch everything within that. This has 613 pieces. You can see here from on the box, the characters. Let me just push this back a little bit. You have a lot of characters that come with the set: Iron Man, Black Widow, Captain America, Thor, Hawkeye, Hulk, and then 3 Hydra troopers. Now, people are going to buy this set specifically for getting the Avengers. Let's just kind of get that out of the way. You're not really getting this for this set itself. It is a display set more so than anything else. I wouldn't say it's more of like a playable set. It's more for display and you having that kind of picture scene that, all the Avengers are jumping and posing, if you recall the movie. What's interesting is that they never made a scene like this for the first Avengers movies, which seems like that's something that they would have done, giving you all the Avengers the same way, the core Avengers, which this gives you the core Avengers. I'm gonna get into that in a moment. But they would have had that with a small display of like the New York City Grand Central Station bridge, because that's where it kind of took place, where they all kind of got together. Now, this is able to give you that for the second movie, the second Avengers movie. This is that scene. And there's a couple other play features too that I think are cool, that are nice, that are fitting. But first off, let's just get into the fact of you're purchasing a set for the Avengers members, and it gives you all the Avengers members. And to the best of my knowledge, outside of the huge Avengers Tower set, this is probably the only set that gives you all of the core Avengers from the movies, which I think is great. And they're all like a good version of them, good. We're going to go into all the figures individually in a little bit, because posing this whole setup, I want to have that done first. But they are good figures. And they pretty much come with all the standards and bells and whistles you need them to kind of make you feel like, okay, I got everything. I got a couple weapons for each one. I got, some of their signature things. The only thing I would say that's lacking is Captain America, I think, could have used his hairpiece. But then again, I guess the same could have been said for Iron Man as well. So that's the only thing, but that's a quick fix where if you just had some hair pieces laying around, or from either a different set with these figures, or you just bought hair pieces from Lego, that's really a quick fix. The hair pieces don't cost much. It's just more so the fact that if you're placing an order for that, and that's the only things you're ordering, then you have to pay for shipping. But if it's just part of an order you're already making, then it's not so bad. Now, just zooming in on the scene really quick. Let's push that back a little bit. Move the box a little bit out of the way. And well, before I do that, matter of fact, let me just give you a quick look at the back of the box. And it kind of highlights the bunker. And that was the bunker that was shooting at Hawkeye in the movie, which he was down. And then Black Widow says, can someone take down that bunker? And Hulk goes running for the bunker to destroy it. You have obviously the little truck that they were driving in. You have this right here shows the bunker could get destroyed. I actually didn't realize that feature or why that was there when I put it together. And I'm seeing that now in the back. And then you have this right here where you put these pieces together onto the set just for a place to put them. Because the truth is, they really don't go there in terms of the scene. So here you go here. And that is supposed to be like the picture framing of that scene where the, like I said before, they are kind of jumping out in that moment. So what I'm going to do is bring everything a little closer. We're going to go over a lot of things, and then we'll go into the figures a little bit afterwards. This is the place where they have you set up to pose everybody. Let's just move in here a little bit more. And so it's really chaotic. I'm not gonna lie. It's really chaotic. You don't have to make it this way. To be honest, once I built this up, because I actually purchased this as a gift to my sons. He loves the Avengers, one of my sons. And so this was for him. He loves superheroes. And after it was all put together, I didn't have a lot of these kind of little location spots as far as where you post up figures, because it's just, like I said, you're going to keep it in that way if you just want it to be a scene. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pull this off, and we're going to take a look at this in a bit. And I'm actually going to do the destroy process on that, because I actually didn't do it because I didn't realize that that was a feature on here. You can see you got the Hulk pose there. I'm going to take him off. And that is just like a clear bricks for him to be standing. This guy just posed him here, but he doesn't even actually go in that spot. He really doesn't have a spot. Or you could put him inside the bunker, which I have one guy already inside the bunker. No, I'm sorry. He does have a spot. When I look on the outside of the box, he would be up top on this thing up here, that platform. But I'm going to just put him aside for right now. We'll throw him up there just for the sake of it. Those seem to be like sandbags. I don't know why that blast effect is there. A character doesn't fit on it and it doesn't indicate anything, so I don't understand why that's there, which is interesting. Now you have Iron Man here flying. I'm going to pull him off. The truck here, it gets attached to this piece. I didn't lock it in because I knew I was going to move it, but right here, and it goes on an angle, so it's supposed to be like it's floating or kind of jumping in the air. These are almost like those barbed wires to represent. Obviously, you have Hawkeye and Black Widow, and it's funny that they're posed like they're jumping, so that's what it's supposed to be. So that's why they have them like this. On the box art, it showed them, the front of the box art just shows them jumping. You know, they're able to kind of play with things where it doesn't have to be within line of using these kind of invisible, jumping or flying stands. But that's what it's trying to emulate here. So you get the idea, but at the same time too, the execution is not that anything's wrong with it. It just makes it very busy. It's a very busy scene, and it gets very crammed too. So sometimes you're almost trying to, when you're setting it up, you're almost hitting things and knocking things over. We have this guy over here, who is supposed to be getting knocked back, but I put the guy who has the jetpack over here because I just thought that it made it look like he's flying rather than just getting knocked back, but otherwise he would just be getting knocked back. You have Captain America here, who they have him kind of jumping on this clear post. And what's interesting, it is a very nice motorcycle build, which is like an enhanced version of the old school motorcycles. Back in the days, they were just one piece. This has the black framing, and then you put the blue one on top. Then you kind of lock it in with the handles. And it does sit on a peg, a stud underneath here that connects it to the black. So it's not super tight in there, but it's enough that it's not going to fall off. But it looks nice and it looks more detailed than your old school motorcycles, even though those weren't really bad either. And then you put these two gray pieces on the side and the little light piece. And then he has this to hold his backpack, which I've had a Captain America before for my kids, but never one with the backpack. And I think that's really good because, obviously in this scene, he's driving around and he's holding the backpack his shield on his back, and then he'll grab it from behind and then he tosses it while he's driving on the motorcycle. And he hits the troopers, the Hydra troopers when he's doing that. And then afterwards, after I think the shield bounces back to him, he jumps off and flips and it tosses the motorcycle. I can't remember if it's a group of the people or if it's at one of those trucks similar to the one we have over here, or if it's a bunker, I don't remember. But yeah, so you have that scene. So there's Captain America. Like I said, the only thing I would say is, if he would have came with a hairpiece, now obviously everybody's in battle mode right now, so that doesn't really matter. But if he came out of that mode, in that scene, he never takes off his mask anyway. So it's not that you are getting a proper version. It's just a matter of not having that option. Here you have Thor with his hammer and the lightning effect with it, which is actually pretty cool. He's got this cape too. We're gonna go over the figures in a little bit. But here goes the scene pretty much. Now, like I said, I can take this piece off, and this is kind of like your, I don't know the term to use for it, not an additional bunker, but we'll just say a tower, for lack of a better word, a little kind of tower post. And they just kind of give the scene a little extra in terms of play features, I think. Not so much in terms of the setup of the way the scene looks, but more so just if you want to play out that scene, which I think is a positive, because for kids who want to play with it, you have the feature of these guys are shooting. You got 3 enemies, so at least you got a decent amount of enemies. Like I said, the amount of figures that this comes with is actually very good. The price on this set is pretty expensive. I'm going to have the link in the description down below for Amazon. I happened to catch this on sale for the holiday season. And it went down to a really good price. I don't remember what it was. I think the base price on this is like $80, and I think it went down to like $60 or something like that. If you can catch this on sale, definitely jump on it. If you can't, and you just really like want a set with all the Avengers characters and good versions of them, I consider them good versions of them, then in that case it's probably worth it. But other than that, it does get a little pricey, so I would say definitely wait for it to kind of be on sale, because you're not getting a lot of pieces. You are getting it for the minifigures. And you know, some people say just having a Hulk is a pricey figure in itself. Like I said, you are getting a lot of figures. What is the total here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 figures, which is really a lot, because you don't even get 9 figures in a modular sets, which are often $200 something. Granted, you're not getting the amount of parts inside this, but still. Now let's test out this feature here, because I didn't even know this was a feature. So comes out, I have one of the figures inside here, the Hydra figures. So this just bumps off, so that's cool. That's why it doesn't, you know, lock in there hard, and I didn't realize that. In addition, we have a little containment unit here, and I had put studs inside here. These are the studs that would go for the Hydra blasters, and one of the stud pieces that are for Iron Man's thrusters. But just a place to put some things. Like I said, it's nice. You got the little stud shooter guns on this. So we'll put this back down here in that place. So like I said, it's nice that you come with that, a little something, little play feature. So like I said, that's one thing that makes this set really good, is you have play features for the kids if you buy it for them, and they're going to be able to play with it. I wish I would have known that, because when my son opened this up, and I had to put it together because he was putting together a different set. I didn't even realize about that. This one right here doesn't have any particular features, but I think it's kind of cool. You got the sandbags on top. I think did a nice job of that. Having this little tower here is cool. Like I said, another place to kind of have figures stand. So that's another thing too. Not a lot of sets come with a lot of these. And this is coming with 1, 2. I'm not going to count like anything that's being used in, like this or those specifically, but just like kind of the rods. You've got 1, you've got 2, the tower one I just showed you. You can do a little something with this if you want to count that, because I know the piece that's connecting on is actually a pretty rare piece in itself. Let me see if I can bring that up without moving that. Those things, they're kind of rare in themselves, I think, and you can kind of really plug them to a lot of places. So there's that. And then on the Jeep, you've got 2 more of them. So we'll say about, if you're considering the long ones is 4, if you consider that small piece there too, that's 5. But it really gives you the ability to take these and add them to any set that you need to have that dynamic of people posing and flying or whatever the case is, which is just really great, you know, in itself. So let's jump into I'm gonna jump into the Jeep really quick first. And I'm going to take these things off. And I think that the black base around this is really just to give that silhouette, which is fine. It's cool. And you have the snow on top of it when you build it up. So I think that works as a display aspect as well, because it's almost like framing. I don't know if their intention was that, but it almost creates almost like framing, which I think is really cool. So this is the Jeep. Now it has these 2 things on the top here, these 2 tools. Nice interior where you have like the whole, you know, speedometer gauge on that side and the steering wheel this side, even though normally those 2 things are on the same space. But obviously they had to kind of spread things out to make it work. It's fine. You got 2 seats, no kind of doors, one of those kind of open type Jeeps. But I do think there's a really good quality Jeep just in general. You know, yes, like it is coming with the set, and some people might have said, okay, like it's just extra, whatever. But I think as a play feature, it's great. and the fact that it holds 2 minifigures in the front. And if you take out the little posing rods, like I just said, you could literally hold a few people back here as well. So that's actually really cool that you have that option. It can really hold all the Avengers here, save for having Hulk in there, and you can put him in like this, but you wouldn't really want to do that. So other than Hulk, you really could put everybody here, even though only 2 of them really need it, because Captain America has his own little motorcycle. We already kind of went over the motorcycle really quick, so this is nice. So jumping into the figures, I'm not going to go over all the Hydra figures because they're literally all the same. This one's using this for the backpack here, just so you can kind of see how that looks. And just taking the regular one here, he's got his regular mask with the front mask and just a strap going along the back. You can see his front torso and his back torso. So none over the top. You get 3 of them. You know it's repetitive, but it is nice for the purpose of army building. I don't know of any other sets that come with Hydra figures, but it's still an option for you. Here you have Iron Man, and you can see he's got that kind of the face electronic printings, and then on the back side he's got his regular face. Once again, it's one of those things where it's designed for the helmet, because without him having a hairpiece, you can't really remove the helmet. So both of these faces is just a matter of which one do you want underneath the mask when he lifts his mask up. This is actually a different version than the one that I reviewed recently where he was in a mech. So that's cool that at least you're getting a different Iron Man figure, and they have him with the thrusters going on. So that's nice. Like I said, each member, they have given some aspect of, I'm just gonna post him up here, some aspect of their powers, which is cool. Hulk, obviously you don't need an expression of powers, he's just big and strong. This is the first large minifigure that I've ever had in hand, and this is an improved one versus the older days one, because this one the head removes, where back in the days they didn't have that. So the head could be removed and it could obviously be spin, and then he has the hair piece. The only thing I would say is the hair piece is very loose the way it's designed versus like the hair piece on a regular minifigure. So just something to be aware of. We've got Thor here. I'm going to take his hammer out really quickly. You can see his torso. And you can see the head. He's got the lightning eyes, which is really cool in my opinion. And what I'm going to do is take the, I don't like to just pull the cape off just like that, even though it could do that, but then I think you'll wear it out. You can see the back printing there. So I think it's a nice Thor. And like I said, once again, they give him the stuff he needs, his accessories, to at least feel complete. And I really like that about this set here. Some sets don't always do that, you know, come with everything that you want a character to kind of come with. Like, for example, Iron Man might not come with thrust. They'll overlook that because they may not think it's a big deal. And I think it's a big deal because that's like really directly part of his power set, his shooting ability or his flying abilities and whatnot. Thor, they're going to obviously give him a hammer, but giving him the lightning, I think, is definitely a nice bonus. I don't know if that's something he would normally come with all the time because I never had a Thor figure, but I think that that is pretty cool. He's got to stand a little differently because his cape gets in the way from plugging the back holes of his feet into the thing. So he's supposed to go on to connect differently. Here goes Black Widow in her jumpsuit. I think it looks nice. The printing, she's got her reverse printing. She actually has double-sided heads, the mean face as well. And the nice face, let's go to the mean face because she's in battle. Regular hairpiece that fits her well. And she's got one pistol, which is great. Like, once again, like I said, giving them accessories that suit them and that fit them. You have Hawkeye here, which I think is done very well. You see his torso printing, his leg printing. And he doesn't have a second face, which is interesting. I don't know why they didn't give him a second face. He does have a pretty neutral face that can go either in a, you know, kind of a fighting mode or a non-fighting mode. It's pretty in between. You can see his back printing. They give him the quiver of arrows, which is like how they used to always have on the medieval forest guys, except this is painted in black, which is fine. I feel like this hairpiece is almost like, I've never seen this hairpiece before, where the top looks familiar, but then I feel like this always ended with spiky at the tip on some of the city characters, and this one's slightly different, so that's interesting. He comes with his bow and arrow, which is nice. So once again, coming with the accessories he needs to come with, I think is great. And then you have Captain America. Now, I've had a Captain America figure before that I bought for my kids before, but this one is pretty much the same thing, except that one came with a hairpiece. But what this one comes with, obviously for the scene, that other one was a 4+ set with probably one of the best Captain Americas I've seen. It was the same type except with the hairpiece. And so here you can see his torso printing. He's got that with the mask and then without it, which is cool. Like I said, he's missing just the hairpiece, the helmet. I love this type too, where, let's try to focus, we get the actual helmet piece, because some Captain Americas just come with a blue head and it's supposed to be like it's non-removable. And I don't like that. I like when you can always take the character's mask off. So here we have this little backpack piece for the shield, which I think is great. I never had that on the previous Captain America that I had. It was, like I said, it was like a 4+ set. And it didn't have that, though it did have the hairpiece. But here you can see the back part of the straps coming on, which is great because those kind of go hand in hand with this, indicating like this is the piece where the straps connect. So I think that's really awesome. So a nice Captain America figure. Like I said, the only thing is you may have to get yourself some hair on the side. Other than that, I think he's just an amazing, a really nice, one of the better figures in my opinion. So that is the layout of the figures, you guys. This is the layout of the set. As far as my opinion, once again, just to reiterate, do I think you should buy this set? If you want a set with all the Avengers, because I've used to see times before this set came out and before it was on sale, I used to see different sets with Avengers that were a little cheaper, maybe $15 for an Iron Man. They had a $15 Iron Man set with 2 Hydra soldiers, and it was a part of the same scene with the Iron Legion. No, I'm sorry, it was the Iron Legion and a bunker that had similar to this but smaller, and no Hydra figures. I'm getting mistaken with the Legion. They had 2 Legion figures, Iron Legion figures, and then you had the Thor figure from Ragnarok, and that was maybe I think about $20-something too. And you had all these ones you could piece together, but none of them worked to get all the Avengers. And if you were able to get Avengers, some of them had overlap where you're getting 2 of the same character. Like I would get 2 Captain Americas if I would have gone that route. And at a certain point, you're just like, well, I want the Avengers. And now I'm getting all these extra parts with it that are not the Avengers. This is the closest set that I know of where you're getting all the Avengers, the core members of the Avengers from the MCU. The build is a little bit extra fluff, yes. But in terms of you just getting those members, I don't think there's a cheaper way to get all the members, because like I said, if you start trying to piece it out from cheaper sets, what ends up happening is you end up paying the same price, but you end up having a lot of overlap of other characters. And some of those characters aren't even like the better versions. Like I seen one with the Captain America that was affordable, but that same one with Captain America, and I think that was the one with the Hulk, Captain America, I think it had Black Widow and Loki with the Leviathan, was like about $40. And that might not seem like it's that bad versus this set being $80, but 1, you aren't getting all the Avengers, and 2, that Captain America, if I'm not mistaken, had the blue head piece as the mask and not a removable mask, removable helmet. So, like I said, you aren't even getting the versions that, in my opinion, that you really want. So, yes, this is expensive at $80. If you can get it at a cheaper price, then do so. But if you just want a set, you're not one of those people who's going to go crazy. You're not going to buy a bunch of sets. You're not going to put a hole in your wallet. You just want this set just for the sake of saying, I got all the Avengers. In that case, I definitely recommend it. Like I said, if you're not, you're just a general collector and you just like, okay, I don't want to have too many duplicates of characters. I already have a lot of the characters. I already have a lot of Avengers. In that case, I would say $80, maybe pass. But if you want a display set, it is a good display set. Just be careful with that price. That's all I'm going to say, is because I think this set is a definite go at $60. It's not a definite go at $80. Links in the description down below, you guys. And as always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.